So a very common sentiment I hear is that if only I had a better camera or a better phone, my pictures would be 20 times better. And while I can see the logic, obviously getting a better camera would result in higher quality photos. Higher quality photos doesn't mean it's a better photo. And I think this is something that a lot of people fail to understand. There are many more variables in a photo than just the raw quality. There's a lot to think about when you're taking a picture of something, and I think people often forget that 90% of the work that goes into a picture is your own skills and your own ability to see the shot and execute the shot. Of course, better hardware results in better flexibility and probably a better expression of what you want to get. You can give the best camera in the world to the least experienced photographer and their pictures are going to suck. But on the other hand, you can give the best photographer in the world the worst camera, and I guarantee you, even though the quality will be bad, there will be way more artistic value in the picture versus the other situation. And this isn't me trying to hate on people who have this mindset. I understand the mindset, okay? I have one of the best picture taking phones in the world, so obviously I understand the need and want for better hardware, but I also know that I can get good pictures out of almost any phone as long as I put the work into executing the shot properly. And I'm definitely a mediocre photographer. I'm not some crazy professional, but I have put some work into learning how these photography values, rules, and guidelines work for photography, and usually I can get a pretty good shot out of almost any phone. But let's say you can't afford a new phone and you're stuck with what you have, right? That's the situation of a lot of people and why people are frustrated because they can't get the kind of photo quality they want. But there are things you can work on and get better at without the need for better hardware, and that's the whole point of this video. I want to prove to you guys that you don't need the best of the best to get some pretty decent photos. Now the question is, how will I prove to you guys that you genuinely do not need the best hardware in the world to take good pictures? Well, last year I did a video on the iPhone SE 2020 and I kind of went over its overall usage in 2024, and it was a pretty mediocre phone. It's not crazy in any perspective or any category, and that also applies to the camera. For the most part, the camera was pretty underwhelming. It was just like an average camera experience, and if anything, even below average, because it has only one camera, whereas most phones nowadays have 2 or 3 or even 4 cameras, so obviously limited in that perspective. But I think the iPhone SE is a very good phone to showcase that you don't need good hardware to take good pictures. It's limited enough to where you have to sort of lean into your actual photography skills rather than rely on superior hardware. So what I did was I started taking the iPhone SE around wherever I went. Instead of taking out my Pixel 9 Pro, I went ahead and just took out the SE, and I wanted to see what I could do with it. Now, I didn't do anything crazy for the settings. All I did was enable a grid and a level tool, just so I know if stuff is lined up properly in the shot. Also, I did use one of the photography styles. I set it to dramatic. You can always change this later, but just for the simplicity of the video, I will be using the same color filter throughout the whole thing, just to have some consistency. Now, straight off the bat, coming from my 9 Pro, there were some obviously glaring limitations. Now, one of the first limitations that I immediately noticed and felt was the limited amount of zoom options. You only have a single camera on the SE, and the actual digital cropping of that camera isn't the best. So you have to be pretty conservative with zooming in, or else your pictures kind of come out a little blobby, I guess. And despite this, I think the pictures did come out pretty good. It has been pretty rainy here lately, so a lot of the pictures are pretty moody looking, but I think in terms of just overall quality, obviously the quality isn't as good as you would get on my 9 Pro, but it's still very serviceable, and it actually, some of them really surprised me in what I could do. And this comes down again to me putting a little more thought into the shot. I couldn't rely on superior hardware, so I had to lean into my photography skills, and I think a lot of these pictures just turned out great. Now, there were definitely times where I felt a little hindered by the hardware, but I didn't let it stop me from getting the pictures that I wanted. Instead of thinking, man, I wish I had a better phone, I just kept taking pictures until I was happy with the shot I got, and it paid off. There were definitely some bad photos I took with it, but I kept pursuing until I got a shot that I was happy with, and I think I got quite a few handfuls of good pictures. The SE certainly was not the most exciting phone to take pictures on, but I didn't feel like I was majorly hindered by the hardware. The best thing anyone can do when taking pictures is just keep taking them until you get a good shot. Don't give up in the middle of it just because you don't think your hardware is up to par. If you walk away all frustrated with your phone, you're just going to end up up missing the shot that you wanted to get. But yeah, a lot of these pictures I am very happy with, and I actually like them a lot, enough for me to be like proud of them. And that is despite being on a technically inferior phone with inferior camera hardware, it didn't stop me from capturing photos that I am genuinely proud of. Anyways, in conclusion, I think this video serves as a reminder that what's important when you're taking pictures is not your camera hardware, and more so your passion and desire to get the shot that you want. If you keep trying to tackle photography from the perspective that you need more in order to get good photos, you're going to distract yourself from what actually matters in a photo. You should worry more about the composition of your photo than the actual quality itself. And in doing that, you will ultimately come out with pictures that you're much happier with than if you were to just focus on the quality. And I genuinely do believe that. And I know the pictures I got with the iPhone SE, they aren't anything insane or mind-blowing, but I think they serve as a purpose to show you that you can get good photos from mediocre camera hardware. Anyways, thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching.